Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over Pop Goes the Weasel event, in which the Princess Fizzbang is added to the game, as well as the new legend Queen Grapplepot. We're going to be going over everything with this event, with the one exclusion of the guild task nerf, which we're going to be doing as its own video. So first things first. Of course, there's that new legend within the event key drop pull. Let's go and keep pulling until we get her. And of course, 0 right off the bat. Come on now. Give it to us. There we go. Queen Grapplepot. And for reasons going to be explained later, I'm actually not going to open up any more event keys because I'm kind of scared using any resources for the foreseeable next few weeks until they maybe change it. Anyways, guild task nerf. More on that later. But let's go into the events. So we got the new legends. Of course, there's now the Princess Fizzbang. You can buy her for 400 glory. So we have her. There's of course 200 glory per arcane, which is always a really good idea, good value for these. So definitely go and stock up if you need blue purple trade stones. The biggest two troops that you put this on are Queen Mab and Scion, both of which are ridiculously good utilities. Queen Mab is used for freezing, and the Scion is used for being very annoying and mana draining like crazy. But this new troop, so what does it do? Princess Fizzbang. It explodes all green gems, increases a random skill by its magic +1, double if it's a goblin, and gains an extra turn. The most important thing about this is it is an exploder that has an extra turn. This is the first exploder in a game that can do multiple explosions that automatically gains an extra turn. This troop is going to be an excessively great utility for many teams, and could even be a substitute for Ragnagord in any team that doesn't specifically need a brown-red mana generator on the team. If it just needs a mana generator in general, this may now be the replacement for that. Other than that, it now has stealthy as well, which makes it good against single target drains. So let's say they're using something like a Spirit Fox or a Mana Core, or any of these single target drains that just want to hit only one troop and will only drain that specific one. If it has this stealthy, it will make sure that it never gets targeted by any of those mana drains, making it even better at generating mana. So Ragnagord in some instances will still be better than it. Of course, Gorgolfa as a tank will still be better than it. But if you needed a nice second slot kind of mana generator, this is definitely a really good option now. So definitely keep that in mind, and definitely get yourself some. So the new legend, I'd even go over it as we just ended up getting it. Need to go over that one too. Let me go and slot it into each one of the teams we have here. Kind of spoilers as to what the teams actually will be, but let's go get them both in, get them both leveled. We'll go ascend her. I'll make sure to get her to max later. Not going to bother doing that now. We'll just waste time. Let's just get one ascension on her real quick and go level her up. We already traded her. We'll then go max out the other new one and go on from there. Get the level. Click no. No, we definitely want it leveled, that is for sure. We do not want it being a level 5 or whatever level it was, so we'll go and trait this. Her traits aren't really particularly useful, I do have to say, though. They're not really going to serve much of a purpose, mainly because what they do is essentially give a bunch of HP to goblins. And for one, well, you would end up using her with goblins, that is a thing. Generally, you will be using her with all goblins, but as far as her actual gaining of HP, there isn't a single goblin that particularly uses a higher HP. It's nice to have a higher HP, like it's always good for durability and just making sure you don't die, but it's not going to be too huge of a necessity on a goblin team, not like some other kind of archetypes of teams where it actually uses the HP to boost. But let's go over events then. So, events. We have the 10% to all Zacian, 10% to all goblins. That's of course a given. This is a pretty decent bonus, mainly because you are going to be running with a full Zacian goblin team pretty much all the time. This week, it's going to be quite potent. Even with only a 20%, it's still going to be quite decent. The 400 extra gold for doing Explorer is not worth it with an all-goblin team. It's just going to be so much slower than PvP that you might as well not even bother. Of course, the thing in event chests is in event chests, and we have to kill a bunch of goblins this week. If you want to kill goblins, the easiest way to do this would be either PvP or to do it in the Zacian Kingdom and go click on Explore, and ideally you'd see a bunch of goblins there. You should, because that's the kingdom with the most goblins. Goblins. Actually, it's pretty much the only kingdom with Goblins, so you should see, if you want to do it by Explorer, a good majority of them there. Nothing too interesting on the rewards other than gems, now that they're a lot more precious than what they were before. So definitely want to go get those gems. That is a guaranteed thing. And of course, the mythic is still in the drop pool. Keep in mind that event keys will not obtain this mythic, but you can open like the glory and gold, the glory and gem keys that you're getting to go and still attempt it if you still did want her. So, teams. Let's go do those teams. Or at least one team first, and then go over the other thing. So, I think I completely skipped over this real quick when I was doing that earlier. I was going to put it into the team and then explain it, but then I didn't bother putting it into the team because the first team I clicked on didn't actually need it. So, what does she actually do? She hits all enemies for a lot of damage. That's like Krakens level damage, maybe even higher. Then it's boosted by all ally goblins. That is a lot of damage. And then gains an extra turn. So she is pretty good. You'd want to feed mana into her like crazy, and it's going to be insane. I wouldn't be surprised if she gets turned back a little bit. In loop teams, I obviously haven't tried it yet, but we're about to. So let's start with the top first and go with just the Princess Fizzbang, just to show how she kind of is used within the context of an explosion team. So let's get into this battle. First thing we'll want to do is get up Valkyrie, go into the explosion. From the explosion, we will then want to go and start casting out our damage. You may notice we have a guard's avatar. This is not required for the team. I'm just using it because we can. Alternatives would be just to go with almost anything. There's a lot of alternatives they can do. Basically, whatever can do a lot of damage is what you're going to want to be using with this team. But as you can see here, we're going with the guard's avatar. You can go with double Krakens. You can go with a Crimson Bat kind of Dracula's combo. Basically anything that can get a little bit of blue and just the other troop to go suck whatever last little bit of the mana you need, which would most likely be brown, given the colors that are available on the team. So we'll just go and get the Valkyrie down. This then gives us the opportunity to get a pretty big explosion. Before we do, though, we can use the Krakens for an extra turn, and we should be able to loop this pretty much just into the victory. So we gain a random skill, a 22 extra magic on our Krakens. Now, that's about the best thing that could possibly happen, so I will gladly take that. Thank you. Those blues go to literally nothing, but I'm trying to set up a better board, which we can do by taking away that purple and gaining our extra turn. And it looks like, look at that, we don't even need the guard's avatar. See, you don't need no guard's avatar. We did that pretty much just with those three. Actually, literally with those three. Guard's avatar did absolutely nothing whatsoever. Though that was a little lucky that we got magic. That's almost the best thing that could even happen. That's actually one of the reasons why I went Guard's avatar. Was if we give it armor or if we give it magic, it benefits. With everything else, it only normally benefits if you give it magic, unless you're using like Rowan or something else like that. Anyways, that's that. Before I get into the rest of the teams, there was one thing I forgot to mention. And that is the new feature that we kind of have to worry about every single week. Or not really worry about, but Soulforge. Things that we can craft. I also misspoke earlier with something. The mythics that are here last for 1 month. I believe Xenos still stays here forever. But these 4 mythics that run on rotation actually stay here for the entire month. As you can see, we are still able to craft the Farish Ra. Someone brought this to my attention earlier, and as you can see, they're still here. So yeah, Farish Ra might be able to craft that later this week. I forget if they're actually in Legendary Tasked. Actually, never mind. It might be the week after this week that people will start to be able to afford it. But yeah, very soon we should be able to get that Farish Ra, the precious Farish Ra. But as you can see, the legends, as I mentioned, do rotate every single week. Which one of them are worth it? Celastasia, no. Summer Imp, only if you need it for completion. Queen Mab, yes. And Emperor Corvax, yes. Those are the main 2 that you'd want to obtain if you were to afford them, which you definitely can. People should be able to afford the legend. So if you did want to invest into a legend, Queen Mab, if you don't already have her, she's a really good freeze utility. I even mentioned her. You can even get the blue-purple this week for her. So that's perfect. The week that she's within the Forge is also the week that you can get her trait stone. So that works out perfectly. Corvax is also ridiculously good for Guild Wars. I generally only use it for Guild Wars, though. Main thing that makes it nice is it has true damage, it has stun, and it has mana drain all wrapped up in one. It's also the best stunner in the game if you get it fully traded because it can stun off of its final trait. So those are the main two that you'd want to focus on, and both of these would be craftable by most people this week if you did want to invest into that. Of course, the better investment may be just to save it for the Ferrous Raw, but if you don't think like you're really going to go down that route or don't want to spend that many jewels for it, these two would definitely be the best two alternatives. Anyways, back to teams. And into showing the new legend. Actually, this is the first time I'm using it too, since we literally just got it. So, this should work. I assume this would work. Both of these teams, it's like, okay, yeah, they'll probably work. I assume both of them will be absolutely ridiculous. But, we'll see what it's like in practice. It could be completely different. We'll see. I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty solid, though. So, right off the bat, already really good. Come on, once it begins. Okay, we won. I think we won now. Let's double check to make sure that we did indeed win. So, go throw our damage. 40 to everything. That is very, very high. We'll go take that. Get our explosion back. Take the red, just get that out of the way. Goblin Rocket, we'll save that for a moment. We'll go throw Skull, because why not? Actually, I don't think we had any need whatsoever to throw that. Goblin Rocket probably should have threw. Not going to really matter, though, because we have enough to pretty much destroy whatever else we need. Right now, we need to try getting a purple alignment, and we can do that by just doing a double explosion there. And that'll give us the last of the purple we need. And yeah, this is pretty much match. This was essentially how I thought this would end up working out. Obviously, freeze would be the hardest counter to this team, but once you get this thing going, you just won. It's just auto win once you get it. Maybe I lied when I said, oh no, I actually didn't lie, saying that not to do explore with the 4x goblin, and actually still isn't worth it. Because 400 gold is really, really small. You can see right there how much more gold we're getting from PvP. The 400 gold you get for using something like this in Explore isn't worth it. But hey, you can use it in PvP if you want to. Also, both of those are only Legend too. I haven't even got her to Mythic yet. And that thing I'm leaving at Legend for a while now. Oh, Krakens. Okay, so we're up against a bunch of Krakens. And let's try this one. This was essentially the same exact team, just with less Goblin, but more loop. If that's even possible to have more loop. But yes, we're going with the Green Seer Giant Spider combo, a really commonly used combo used for invading to give you basically infinite green and purple mana, and you can see how that's going to be quite effective with Princess Fizzbang and the Queen Grapple Hook Pot. I almost said Grapple Hook. Makes sense, but anyways. We're throwing it down with a Frozen Banner, +2 blue, +1 purple, -1 red. Obviously, we don't use the red unless we happen to get it off the spider, that is. So starting board is actually horrifically bad. That is unfortunate. Hopefully we'll be able to get through the beginning of the battle. But once we get through the beginning of the battle, we should auto-win. So we'll take the blue. And now to auto-win. So we can take away blue, right? Yeah, that should be fine. I don't think that's going to affect anything. And now we have greens here. I need to make sure we do not convert out the purple, of course. We do want to keep that on the board. Also, of course, want to leave the green on the board. That's this is kind of self-explanatory, since we do utilize that for our other ability. Okay, we have it for the brown, so we will go for that. Start getting up our poke. I want to cast that so badly right now. It's not going to let us, apparently. Just going to move that down, get our little bit of mana. That'll give us green seer that we will hopefully be able to throw somewhere. Yes, we can. We can throw that on red. And there we go. This, of course, does a little bit less damage now that we don't have all goblins, but it's only 8 less damage. Not really too much, given that it's already doing so much damage to begin with. So, let's see. Let's just explode the board. It's pretty much the entire board, except for one little blue gem. Somehow he survived, and he's all the way in the corner. Okay, so where do we throw next? What do we need to move? Red? No. Brown? Yes. So we go there. I feel like I'm taking a little bit longer this time on the battle. We're getting more of a loop. An easier loop, a more solid loop that won't break. But I feel like I am using it slower. It could just be me just not being as aware right now. But it does feel slower than what we were just using, for sure. The previous team. So we'll throw ourselves down a green sphere if we have one, that is. If we don't, then we'll just throw another explosion, because why not? We can. And then we can get a giant spider just to clear the board. Well, first things first, get the little bit extra turn there. And now we can throw the giant spider. So yeah, this is 100% definitely going slower than before. That is without a doubt. But as you can see, the loop will never end off this thing. As I say that, it just ended, but it will never end, then ends. But, oh, and I forgot we're entangled as well. But generally, it would not really end, for the most part. I think the biggest issue I'm having right now is I keep bottlenecking how many greens are on the board. Because I keep exploding in a way that we're not really getting any alignment on the greens. We need to be casting greens here a lot more than we are. That's the biggest issue that's really occurring as of this current moment in time. Also, can we just get the last little bit here? Go explode it. There. Have the last little kill that you need to go take it out. But yeah, this new troop, both of the new troops, are quite powerful. They're probably top 10 right now, I'd say, in the entire game. Both of them are really, really, really good. Queen Grapple Hook, I said it again, Grapple Pot is going to be used for pretty much any team that wants to gain a lot of mana and then just keep throwing additional damage. And the Princess Fizzbang is going to be used with every single team that wants just a little bit of extra mana, basically infinitely. If you do any kind of infinite loop off of blue, off of purple, and really just off of almost anything, and you can get those green explosions, it will be a very, very powerful mana generator. It will be counterable, though, given that it only does it on green. It's not like a Ragnagord or something else where it can do it on anything or it just does it randomly. It is restricted on the green itself, so do keep that in mind. It's one of the reasons why we were using in the other team a Goblin Shaman when we were running the all-Goblin format. Actually, let's go throw it out one more time, why not? The all-Goblin format one last time. As far as variants of this, I don't think you would really change anything about this game. You can maybe put in a, what's his name? A Nobin Brothers, maybe? But personally, I like Goblin Rocket too much to use the Nobin Brothers instead. Goblin Rocket just gives you so much board control, and it's I'm a huge fan of using it. So this is my preference. You could end up using something else, though. So we'll throw down the damage. It's almost one shot right there. Maybe not one shot, but it's a lot of damage, is the bottom line. One really nice thing that you may have noticed about this team too, we're only using one green troop. Even though goblins have a lot of green in them, we're only using one green, and that one green is the new legend. And that means every single bit of mana that we get goes straight into her being able to do those kind of really quick teams. So I can guarantee, after just doing this one more time, that this is indeed the better variant. Basically, just build this. 4 times Goblin! It's back! It's back, guys! The awfulness that was 4 times Goblins is back. Does anyone remember when the other 4 times Goblin team was meta? Bad times, no. It was before Queen Mab era, before she froze or anything like that, so there's like no counter to it. Now, technically, all you have to do is do a Spirit Fox against it, and you should be, I mean, not Spirit Fox, sorry, a Queen Mab against this team, and you should be fine. The problem is facing this team without a Queen Mab, like in Guild Wars or something. It is going to be quite nasty, though I'm pretty sure the AI will be a little bit worse at it than what a player will be. It's probably going to not be able to get as many loopage off or anything like that, but still, it's definitely not a team to underestimate. It can do a lot of damage very, very quick, and definitely something you should be watching out for. But we'll go throw it out in that last little pass. Go a little bit slower this time, surprisingly, but it is going to go down. We have an infinite loop basically off of just the team in general. That's the only problem with kind of balancing out goblins, since they give essentially every goblin the ability to extra turn, except for, I think, Goblin King. Goblin King and that one Bugbear guy, and I think maybe one other, are like the only goblins that don't have an extra turn. Every other one of them has an automatic extra turn, and the kind of things that they're starting to give to them are just so huge and crucial to so many teams. So yeah, those are the 2 new troops. They are definitely both absurdly good. I wouldn't be surprised if both of them get cut back in the future. Definitely enjoy and use them while you can. If you need to counter them, go with the Queen Mab. She's even craftable this week if you don't already have one. The trait stones for her are also available through the rewards, so you can get everything you need to go counter this team at least this week. So I don't know if they did that deliberately or if it just coincidentally kind of fell that way. But yeah, you can get the blue-purple for Queen Mab over there, and you can get the you can actually craft her if you so wanted to with your jewels if you don't already have one by going into you would have to have level 9 Soulforge. But you'd be able to do it under troops with the resources for it. 800 jewels, 5,000 souls, 4 celestials, and that would be able to counter out that team. So that ends up working out quite coincidentally. But anyways, guys, that'll wrap it up for today. We will be doing a stream later going over these troops and seeing how more broken we can make them. Also, I will be covering a video a little bit later today, before that, going over the changes that happened to guild tasks. It is probably the most controversial thing they've done. Even though technically it was already in place last week, all the guilds are basically getting hit by it now, so we'll be going over that very, very soon. Anyways, hope you all have a wonderful week. Best of luck if you're trying to get any drops, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye, and have a wonderful day.